Hello friends and welcome. As I was pulling out the gorgeous fall drugstore makeup products that I'll be using in today's video, I found myself getting very excited because doesn't fall just conjure up some really special images and feelings? It's really an amazing time of year that's an absolute feast for all of our senses. And we'll talk about this more in just a moment, but before we do, I want to welcome those of you who are new to this channel. My name is Elise, and I hope you'll find the focus on makeup techniques, tips, and product ideas for those of us in our 5th decade and beyond to be relevant to your needs and challenges. And if you do, I do hope you'll subscribe before you leave today. And a warm welcome also to those of you who are returning. Your support, your appreciation, and your enthusiasm mean so very much to me, and I thank each of you for these gifts. So let's get started with today's topic and think fall. Fall symbolizes so many interesting things, the abundance of the growing season, as well as the mystery of change, which we see and feel all around us with the crisp, cool air and the changing colors. And the coming change tends to turn us inward as we retreat indoors to create our favorite serene and cozy rituals of hibernation, which range anywhere from warm sweaters to comfort foods like Chilean soups, to pumpkin everything, at least for me. And even those of us who live in warmer climates look forward to bringing fresh air into the house, dining outdoors, and wearing jeans and boots. And maybe even perhaps taking advantage of car seat warmers. And then of course there's our focus today, the gorgeous colors of the season, which we can enjoy through fashion and makeup. The beautiful fiery shades of red, the earthy shades of brown and plum, smoldering shades like orange and rust, the brooding shades of burgundy and berry, as well as the fading remnants of green all around us. And fall 2021 is all about bold lip colors, statement eyes, and vibrant shades, deep red or berry lips, as well as jewel tones. So let's take a go at trying out a fun look with some really good quality drugstore makeup products with these gorgeous colors in mind. And by the way, one of the things that's wonderful about fall is that no matter what the undertone of our skin is, whether it's cool, warm, or neutral, there are fantastic lip and cheek colors that will work for each of us. The fall-inspired peaches, corals, oranges, rusts, and red-orange blush and lipstick colors look great on those of us with warm undertones. And the blue-reds, the burgundies, the berry, and the violet lip and blush shades look marvelous on those of us with cool undertone. And if you fall into the neutral category, you can wear just about any of the lighter versions of most of these colors. And if you're unsure of the undertone of your skin, you may want to check out the video where I guide you through 9 questions that you can ask that can help you determine the undertone of your skin. You'll find a link to that video if you click on Show More, which is below and to the left of this video. Well, I've already done my skincare prep, but as long as we're talking about drugstore products that are as good or better than high-end, I want to mention a fairly new clean beauty skincare line that I've been really impressed with. It's called Verst, and it's available at Target stores as well as on their website. I especially love their eye cream, their rich moisture cream, and their advanced night cream. And if you're not already using a retinol product, they do have a gentle retinol serum made especially for sensitive skin. And here's what I love about these products. First, Verst is the cleanest drugstore skincare brand, hands down. They don't make products that have any of the over 1,350 toxins and questionable ingredients. They also don't have fussy packaging, so the price is kept pretty reasonable. And they do have on their website a skin decoder quiz that asks questions that will help you know which products will be best for you. And their labeling is really awesome. And what I mean by this is that every product has a label that says how to use the product and how much to use, where to apply it, and when to apply it. This may not seem like a big deal, but I'm always astounded by how many skincare products don't provide this information on their labels. This information is so important for us, especially for skincare products. I'll link to some of their products in the description box below. Okay, I'm off my soapbox now, and I want to mention just one other drugstore skincare product that I won't do without. It's my Naked Bee Lip Balm. The Naked Bee balms are made with organic olive oil and beeswax and made in the US to ensure quality control. I love the coconut and honey, but it's also available in 6 other varieties, including lavender, orange blossom, and grapefruit. Well, all right, enough on skincare and on to makeup. I've already applied my eye primer and filled in my eyebrows, and I used the eye primer from Essence called I Love Stage Eyeshadow Base. I used e.l.f.'s amazing $3 Instant Lift Brow Pencil and Almay's Brow Styler, which is a tinted gel which helps my really wiry little brow hairs stay in place. And I also applied a very small amount of my Maybelline Lasting Fix Banana Translucent Setting Powder over my eyeshadow primer, just to make the eyeshadow glide on a little bit more easily. If you're a beginner with eyeshadow, it's especially helpful to apply a little translucent powder before applying eyeshadow. So now let's move on to eyeshadow, one of my favorite topics, and I know a favorite topic for many of you. Instead of focusing on our skin undertone for the best eyeshadow colors for our eyes, we really need to look at the colors that are complementary to our eye color, because complementary colors will really make our eyes pop. So today I'll be sharing with you colors from 7 different eyeshadow palettes that work beautifully to highlight different eye colors. The eyeshadow palettes are from BH Cosmetics, ColourPop, and Juvia's Place. And although these palettes can't be purchased at the drugstore, they are drugstore priced eyeshadows. Eyeshadow palettes from all 3 of these brands can be purchased on their company's website, which often have amazing sales, and at Ulta. I would rank BH Cosmetics, ColourPop, and Juvia's Place as having 3 of the top 5 eyeshadow formulas, period. They're wonderfully pigmented, glide on so easily, and blend in beautifully. You just can't ask for anything more from an eyeshadow. Today, I'm going to be working from these 2 palettes, which have beautiful color stories. The Passion in Paris BH Cosmetics palette, and the Cabana Club palette from ColourPop. I'm going to be using colors that work well with my brown eyes, primarily burgundies and deep blues. But before I do my eyeshadow, I want to show you some palettes that would work beautifully for blue, green, hazel, and gray eyes. Complementary colors for blue eyes are shades of neutral beiges and browns, terracotta shades, colors with a hint of orange and golds, as well as deeper browns. The BH Cosmetics Summer in Saint-Tropez palette has some gorgeous colors in these tones. Let me show it to you. For green eyes, complementary shades that look beautiful are purples and pinks, burgundy, wine, plum, lilac, as well as copper. There's some beautiful lilac shades in this BH Cosmetics Blueberry Muffin palette. And there's some burgundy and wine colors in the Passion in Paris palette that are stunning as well. And there's some stunning copper colors in the Juvia's Place Warrior palette. Colors that make hazel eyes pop include golden shades, warm bronzes, and browns. And if you have hazel eyes and want to bring out the greens and golds, try bronze or eggplant, periwinkle, light purple, and pale pink. For bronze and gold colors, this Juvia's Place Warrior palette is absolutely stunning. And the BH Cosmetics Blueberry Muffin palette has some lovely periwinkle colors. And for gray eyes, shades of blue, green, or brown are stunning. The browns in the Juvia's Place Warrior palette would be beautiful. Also beautiful would be the blue and green in this ColourPop Lush Life palette. going to go ahead and start my eyeshadow application by using the lightest shade from the Juvia's Place Warrior 2 palette, which is called Zaz. I'm going to put it all over my lid, under the arch of my brow, and on the inner corner of my eye. Now, I have to say up front that I will probably mispronounce the names in the Passion in Paris palette, since you know my French is not good at all, as well as the Juvia's Place palette, so my apologies in advance for that. So you can see the very lightest color in the bottom row on the far right. That's what I'm going to be using. So I'm going to be using this flat brush and just apply it all over my lid first. I'm going to use this smaller brush to put it under the arch of my brow. Blend it in. And in the inner corner area of my eye, which is pretty dark. Next, I'm going to dive into the BH Cosmetics Passion in Paris palette. I'm going to be starting off with a light beige color called Notre Dame as my transition shade for my crease area and for my outer lid. And I'll use the burgundy colors of Pompadour and Grand Palais on the outer part of the crease and the outer lid area. Here is Notre Dame, here's Grand Palais, and here's Pompadour. Just starting in the middle when I have the most product on my brush, and I'm going straight out because I want to lift that eye area. And I'm going to go back in and just make it a little bit deeper. The one thing with eyeshadow is you always want to start out light and then build, because if you're too heavy-handed, like unfortunately I often am, sometimes harder to get rid of some of the color than it is to add color. Oh, these colors just glide on so beautifully. I love BH Cosmetics formula. And it's so reasonably priced. I got all of these palettes on sale this past summer. And now that I have very little product on my brush, I'm just going to carry it up slightly. You get a gradient of color this way. Now I've combined Pompadour and Grand Palais, and I'm going to do that in the outer part of my crease and the outer part of my lid. It really doesn't matter where you start your eyeshadow application. I just always like to start with my lid area first and then work into the crease. Now, as you can see, I got a little bit more on this eye. It's a little bit deeper in color. So I'm going to use a little bit more color here just so I make sure that my eyes match. And I'm going to use a little bit deeper Grand Palais just in the outer part of the crease, in the very outer part of the eyelid. And as you can see, I'm not getting a lot of fallout either, which is really nice. And now I'm taking a brush that has nothing on it and really just blending in the outer edges. This is a really good tool. Always very helpful to have some extra brushes that you can use to really blend in the edges so they don't look sharp. Blending is absolutely the key to eyeshadow application. To finish, I'm going to go ahead and use some of the gorgeous blue color called Montmartre. And I may also use the stunning color called Pool Party from the ColourPop Cabana Club palette. We'll have to see. So here is Montmartre. It's this very deep blue in the upper right. And I'm using a fluffier brush just to make sure that it's not heavily applied. And I'm going on the outer lid area as well as the outer crease. And I want to deepen it up just a little bit, so I'm going back in. Now, as you can see, as I blend the burgundy colors and the blue, I get a little bit of a turn toward purple, which is just fine. Now I'm going in with a pencil brush where I can really apply something more in a detailed fashion. And I'm just going to go back in those areas where I want a little bit more color. And then I want to blend again with my brush that doesn't have any colors on it. And I want to make sure that this lid area also just blends in very softly with no real stop and start area with the darker shadows. And this is the blue from the ColourPop palette that I was also thinking of combining. I may add just a touch of that. It's called Pool Party. It's just a slight bit brighter. And then once again, some blending. And then what I always recommend doing is to tilt your head back just a little bit and half close your eyes so you can take a look at both eyes and see if the colors pretty much match. So I think we're in pretty good shape here. For my eyeliner, I'm going to use a dark brown color called Mino from the Juvia's Place Warrior palette. This is Mino. And the most important tool for this is my angled brush, which is very thin. I'm going to put it just as close to my lash line as possible. And what's beautiful about a brush is it can give a very soft look. And I think you can see the difference between these two eyes, this with eyeliner and this without. And I'm taking a little bit of Camo, which is a medium color brown, and putting it along the outer edge. So I cleaned off my eyeliner brush and I'm going to go in with just a touch of that blue color Montmartre as eyeliner. Blue can look gorgeous against brown eyes. And it's such a dark blue that it's really just not even showing up as blue. And just a touch under the eye as well. And I'm going to go up and meet with the eyeshadow color. Then we need to clean up any fallout under the eye. So I'm going to use a makeup wipe and just gently dab. And I want to make sure that my eyeshadow is not coming down any lower than this line that goes up from under my eye to my eyebrow. Now I'm going to go back in with that first color we use and just clean up that lid area a bit. I also want to just go around the outer edge of my shadows, again, just to soften everything. And to make the center of my eyes pop just a little bit, I'm going to apply the shade Moremi from the Juvia's Place Warrior palette, which is a gorgeous metallic shade. This is Moremi. And just pop it in the center. Just brightens up the center of that eye just a little bit. Now I'm going to move on to face primer and foundation. I have to admit that I haven't found a drugstore face primer that I'm wild about, so I would really love to get any recommendations you might have for a great drugstore primer. So today I'm going to come as close as I can to a drugstore price with the very smallest version of Benefit's The Professional Hydrating Primer, which I absolutely love and which costs $13. I really love the feel of this primer, and you can really tell the hydration that's going onto your skin with this primer too. And of course, primer really helps the makeup stay on longer, go on more evenly, and because it's a very hot day where I am, I think that's a good idea, especially gets hotter in this studio. I do film a few weeks in advance, and we're having a bit of a heat wave right now. Next comes foundation. I'm combining two of my drugstore favorites to get the color and the type of coverage as well as the type of finish that I want. I'll be using Catrice's True Skin Hydrating Foundation in Cool Rose, which has more of a matte finish, and L'Oreal's Age Perfect Radiant Serum Foundation in Rose Ivory, which has a slight dewy finish. These really work beautifully together. That was my Catrice product, and here's my L'Oreal product. I always think it's a good idea to shake foundations before applying, even if it doesn't say to do so. So I'm mixing these two on the back of my hand, and then I'm just going to dab on, starting with a little bit more in the center of my face where I have more redness. Then I'm taking my buffing brush and making sure that I really buff this in well. That is one of the secrets to good foundation application. You really want it to meld into your skin and look skin-like, and a good buffing brush will really help you accomplish that. And you always want to bring it down onto your neck, and if your ears are showing, it's a good idea to bring it over your ears. And make sure to get above those eyebrows. And I always apply my eyeshadow first just because I always know I'm going to have fallout, and I'd rather not have to clean up a second time if I apply foundation first and then eyeshadow and then have to clean up. It just saves time. So I think you can tell how natural looking this foundation looks, and by combining these two foundations I get a semi-dewy look, not as dewy as it would look if I just used the L'Oreal product. But I really didn't want a totally matte look, and that's what I would get really with the Catrice product. Next up is concealer, and I like to do my under eye area first by applying a very small amount of e.l.f.'s Hydrating Camo Concealer in Light Peach, just to color correct the dark circles under my eyes. And normally I would just take a little bit of this on a Q-tip, but I forgot to bring Q-tips with me in here. So I normally would not have this heavy a hand with this concealer. But what I want to do is just color correct those reddish purplish circle areas under my eyes, and the peach colors are wonderful at doing that. You just want to find a peach tone that works with your skin, not too pale or not too dark. So I'm just patting it in. As you can see, the warmth of my fingers really makes it meld into the skin. And I'm going to bring it down slightly, just so I have a little bit more lightness in the center part of my face. So here are the two concealer products I've been working with. Now, to make sure I don't have any creasing, I'm just going to take a tiny bit of my banana powder that I used earlier on my eyelids, and I'm going to put it just in the area where I applied the concealer. Next, I'm also going to dot on L'Oreal's Age Perfect Radiant Concealer in Ivory, just to get a little bit more coverage over my age spots. And then just dot it in. Now I have to say, this color is a pretty good match, but it doesn't match quite as well as my Clinique concealer, which is their even better concealer, which I really love. But this works pretty well. To save some time, I'm going to curl my eyelashes and apply my mascara off camera. I'll be right back. I haven't yet found a drugstore mascara that works for my very sensitive eyes, so I went ahead and used my Tarte Lights Cameras lashes on my top lashes and Clinique's Bottom Lash Mascara on my bottom lashes. For my cream contour, I'm combining the two darkest shades from the e.l.f. Cream Contour Palette. So I'm just applying here under my cheekbone and just going to about here. I don't want to go in any further. It just applies so easily because it's a cream. And then this side, again, under my cheekbones. And it's messy, but it doesn't matter because it's all going to get blended in. Also going to go under my jawline because I have a pretty jowly looking jawline. And this really helps conceal that a bit. It's amazing what you can do with makeup, isn't it? Little smoke and mirrors, and a little bit along my hairline up here. Then I'm taking my Real Techniques sculpting brush and just bringing it up. You always want to bring it upward in the cheek area. And obviously you want to blend this in really well so you don't have stripes going down the sides of your face or along your forehead. And then on the jawline, you want to bring it all down. And then I always like to take my foundation brush and just go along the edges, just to make sure there's no line of demarcation where you can see that contour stop and start. Next, I'm going to be applying blush. Now, I'm actually going to be using one of the lipsticks that I may use later on as my blush color. It's L'Oreal's Age Perfect Lipstick in Pinot Noir, which isn't quite as dark as a lipstick that I'll most likely be using, but it is in the same color family. Now, this is quite a dark shade to use as a blush, so I'm going to take a very small amount, put it on the back of my hand, and then mix it with some moisturizer so it will glide on more easily. And the moisturizer also helps helps tone down the color just a little bit. So this is the color I'll be using. So I took a tiny bit of the moisturizer and mixed it in with the lipstick. And then I'm just going to dot it very ever so slightly on here, starting at the temple area and working my way down. And I'm putting it about in the center of my cheekbone. Oh, can you see? That's giving me just a nice flush of that color tone. This probably feels a little scary to do when you first do it, but mixing it with that moisturizer makes a huge difference. And it just also makes it glide on so much more easily. And you're adding moisture to your skin as well. So I'm just adding a tiny bit more. Especially with blush, you want to start off with just a light amount and build up, because we all know how difficult it is when we get too much on and then have to try and do something about that. My highlighter comes next. I'm using Wet n Wild's Mega Glow Hello Halo liquid highlighter in Halo Goodbye. Since this is very glowy highlighter, I'm going to put some on the back of my hand and pick a little bit up with my damp sponge and lightly pat it on. So you can certainly see how glowy this is. So I'm just patting it on with my Real Technique sponge. And I hope you can see the little added glow that that's giving my cheekbone area. I'm going to dot just a little bit on with my finger here, and then use the sponge to blend it in. Ooh, may have gotten too much on that side. We'll see. Luckily, we can blend it out pretty well with the sponge. Okay, I certainly think you can see how much more glowy my cheeks are. And lipstick will finish off the look. I'm going to be applying my Maybelline Age Rewind Concealer in light around the edge of my lips so I can more easily overline my bottom lip with my L'Oreal Age Perfect Lip Liner in Perfect Burgundy. The concealer also helps keep my lipstick from migrating into those little fine lines around my mouth. And I just want to stretch out my mouth so I make sure I get into those little lines. And this is a Maybelline concealer I was using. As you can see, all the writing has worn off, so it's well used and well loved and just about empty. My lipstick is L'Oreal's Age Perfect lipstick in Perfect Burgundy. And over the lipstick, I'll be applying the gloss that I have that comes closest to a drugstore gloss. It's Sephora's Glossed Lip Gloss, which costs $10. And the color I'll be applying is Regal, but I might just lighten it up a bit with another of the Sephora glosses called Wild. We'll have to see. I also have a Milani lipstick called Violet Volt, and I think I'm going to apply a little bit of that over the Perfect Burgundy. And you can certainly see what a difference it makes to add the gloss. So I'm going to take a minute and get the curlers out of my hair and put on a little bit of jewelry, and I'll be right back for our finished look. And here's a final look at the eyes. It's so much fun to try out some different colors with the changing of the seasons, and I hope today's video may give you some inspiration to create your own fall makeup look. And in the comments section below, it would really be fun to hear if you have any favorite makeup products that you especially love to pull out when fall rolls around. Thank you so much for giving me the gift of your time today. And if you know someone else who might enjoy seeing what we've covered today, I do hope you'll share this video. Until next Thursday, I wish you good health and happiness and hope the rest of your day is absolutely fabulous. Take care.